If every serious conversation somehow ends with "it's not what you said," it's your tone. You're not discussing a problem, you're being managed. And the scary part is this: tone becomes a trapdoor. The moment you step on it, the original issue disappears, and they get to stand above you as a reasonable one. Tonight I'm going to show you the exact pattern behind this: frame control. The move where they don't argue the topic, they argue the rules of the conversation, so they can win by default. I'll break down 9 signs you're being frame controlled, why it works on smart people, and short responses that pull the conversation back to specifics without escalating. And near the end, I'll give you a simple 3-step specifics method you can memorize, so the next time someone tries to police your tone, you don't defend yourself, you redirect the frame. Maya wasn't looking for a fight. She was trying to solve one repeating problem. Her partner, Ryan, kept forgetting important things: rent transfers, family plans, commitments he promised he'd handle. It was always the same cycle. She'd remind him, he'd brush it off, she'd end up fixing it, and then he'd act like she was dramatic for caring. So one night, she tried a calm, direct approach. No yelling, no accusations, just a simple sentence: I need us to agree on who's responsible for the rent transfer each month, because I can't keep chasing it. Ryan didn't respond to the rent. He leaned back, exhaled, and said, "There it is, that tone. You always come at me like I'm a child." Maya blinked. She didn't feel like she came at him at all. She felt tired. She felt serious. She repeated herself, "I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to make a plan." Ryan smiled, small, controlled. "See, you're doing it again. You're so intense. No wonder I shut down." And something strange happened inside Maya. The problem, the NT slipped out of focus. Suddenly she was defending her face, her voice, her attitude. She started explaining her intentions. She started proving she wasn't mean. She started apologizing for being too much. 30 minutes later, the rent plan never got made, but Ryan got what he wanted. The conversation ended with Maya feeling guilty and him feeling like the victim of her tone. A week later, the same thing happened at her job. She brought up a missed deadline in a team meeting. "Respectfully, we need to confirm who owns the final review step, because it keeps slipping." Her manager didn't answer the process question. He said, smiling in front of everyone, "Maya, your delivery is a little sharp. Let's keep it collaborative." The room shifted. Maya felt heat in her chest. Now she was sharp. Now she was the problem. Her manager hadn't fixed the system. He just changed the frame. From accountability to her personality. To different places. Same weapon. Frame control is not about the issue. It's about who gets to define what the issue is. When someone can drag you away from the topic and into a debate about your emotions, your tone, your wording, your energy, hey, gain a hidden advantage. They become the judge, and you become the defendant. And once you're defending your character, you're not negotiating outcomes anymore. Tone policing is one of the cleanest forms of frame control because it sounds reasonable. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying your tone is wrong. That phrase is a magic trick. It gives them moral high ground while keeping the problem unresolved. Here's why it works. Your brain treats social rejection like danger. When someone labels you aggressive, too emotional, disrespectful, your nervous system wants to correct it immediately. You start clarifying, softening, justifying. You try to be understood. And while you're doing that, they quietly steer the conversation away from anything that requires them to change. Frame control also thrives on fog. It replaces measurable facts with subjective vibes. Your tone, your attitude, your negativity. Those are slippery. Words hard to prove, impossible to finish. You can't win an argument against something that has no finish line. So the goal is not to sound nicer. The goal is to refuse the frame and bring the conversation back to something countable. What happened? What was agreed? What will change? And when? Here are 9 signs you're dealing with frame control, especially tone policing, moving goalposts, and shifting from. 1. They ignore the content and comment on your delivery. You say, "This happened." They reply, "It's how you're saying it." 2. They demand calm, but only way. And you bring up accountability. You can be calm for weeks, then the moment you ask for clarity, they suddenly need you to regulate. 3. They label you instead of addressing the request. You're intense, you're dramatic, you're controlling. Labels are shortcuts that end discussion. 4. They act confused to force you into over-explaining. "I don't even know what you mean." Now you're stuck proving a basic point while they stall. 5. They turn your reaction into the main problem. They trigger, you respond. Then they say, "This is why we can't talk." Your reaction becomes the headline. 6. They move the goalposts on what counts as respect. Yesterday, respect meant not yelling. Today, respect means not sounding firm. Tomorrow, it means not bringing it up at all. 7. They insist on timing as a permanent obstacle. Not now, not like this, not in that tone. The right moment never arrives. 8. They recruit an audience frame. In public settings, they gently shame you, our tone to make you self-censor, while they look mature. 9. After the talk, nothing changes except you feel guilty. That's the signature. The conversation ends with your apology, not their action. If you recognized even 3 of these, you're not dealing with a communication issue, you're dealing with a control strategy. Comment specifics if you want the exact scripts in a clean copy. Paste list. The goal is simple. Stop defending your tone and start demanding clarity. Here's the rule: you don't argue about tone. You acknowledge once, then you redirect to the point. Short, boring, measurable. Use this 3-step method. Acknowledge gives anchor, gives ask. 1. Acknowledge 1 sentence, no emotion. Got it? Tone matters. To anchor, return to the topic. Back to the specific issue. 3. Ask for a concrete answer. What's the plan? And who owns it? Now here are short scripts you can use in real life. When they say, "It's your tone," you say, "I'll keep it respectful." Now answer the question. Did you agree to do it? Yes or no? When they say, "You're being aggressive," you say, "I'm being direct. What part of what I said is inaccurate?" When they say, "You always do this," you say, "We can discuss patterns later. Right now, what happened on Tuesday?" When they say, "I can't talk to you when you're like this," you say, "Okay, tell me when you can talk, and we'll set a time today." When they say, "You're making a big deal out of nothing," you say, "If it's nothing, it should be easy to fix. What change are you willing to make?" When they say, "You're not listening," you say, "I'm listening. Summarize what you want in 1 sentence. Then we'll return to the decision." When they say, "Calm down," you say, "I am calm enough to be clear. Let's stay on the facts." When they say, "You're disrespectful," you say, "Define what respect looks like here specifically. What words do you need me to use while we solve the issue?" That last one is powerful because it exposes the trick. They don't want respect, they want silence. Now, to advanced moves for people who keep sliding away. The receipt move. Here. S. What I'm asking for. B. Or C. Which one are you choosing? The loop closure. We're not ending this conversation with vibes. We're ending it with a decision. And one protective boundary, especially in relationships. If we can't discuss problems without you attacking my tone, we're going to need a third-party structure, notes, rules, or counseling, because this isn't resolving anything, not as a threat, as a reality. Frame control makes you feel like you're the problem because you have feelings. But the truth is colder. The tone debate is often just a detour designed to protect someone from accountability. A healthy person can say, "I hear you, let's solve it." A controlling person says, your tone is the issue, because tone is infinite. Tone can always be criticized. D. Tone never has to be fixed. Tone keeps them safe from change. So next time it happens, don't chase approval. Don't plead to be understood. Don't argue about whether you're too much. Just return to the only place control strategies hate: specifics. Comment specifics if you want the full script pack, and if you want a follow-up episode, tell me where you see this most: relationships, workplace, or family, because the frame changes, but the mechanism stays the same.